Three knockdown rule is back in effect. I'm Steve Kim, joined by Mr. All Access,
Hey!
Mario Lopez.
There we are. Topical. I love a good moniker. Thank you for the welcome. It is good to be back. And, of course, on the ones and twos, we got Justin Buffalo Knuckles.
What's up, guys?
Very happy with the 1-0 start here of his San Francisco 49ers.
More on that later.
Yes, we've got so much to talk about. During our short little late summer siesta, some boxing took place late August in the Zone. That's where we were in London, O2 Arena, and your new three-belt holder in the lightweight division, Vasily Lomachenko, the Baryshnikov of boxing, pounds out a hard-earned, well-deserved decision over the tough game, Luke Campbell. Mario, in this fight, Lomachenko showed he's as gritty as he is graceful, because if he has to go inside the trenches and make it a fight, he will. And I thought his job of just swimming without getting wet, that old phrase, I thought he did a great job of laying right inside the pocket, slipping the jab, and just a beautiful two-fisted body attack against a very tall, lanky Luke Campbell.
That was a great event. They know how to put on a show over there, and they're such passionate fans and sold out. And that was a tough customer, reminding people he himself was an Olympic gold medalist.
Yes, he was.
Tall, long, lean. IQ, smart guy. So this was no gimme. This was, and again, in his backyard, like you said, and it was a real challenge. A lot of people actually thought he could be a very live dog in this, but man, Loma, who I thought might have some issues and would struggle a little bit, much like we saw Teofimo with a guy who had physical dimensions that weren't to his favor. Yeah. He makes adjustments in his boxing IQ is just so high that he's able to solve those riddles like on the fly and make those adjustments so quickly. And you're right. He showed what I thought was scary and impressive, too. He showed a little toughness and grit that, I mean, you know he's tough, anybody that goes in there, but that was just another layer to complement the angles, the speed, and all his other attributes. He's a bad dude at 135, man. It's hard to find chinks in that armor. So as far as where he goes from here, and by the way, Campbell did have his moments.
Yes.
And I thought fought a very good fight. Obviously, just slightly outclassed here by the two-time Olympic gold medalist. But good fight, solid fight, and I think Campbell still has a bright future. But, man, it's going to take someone real special to knock Loma off his perch.
Early in that fight, I thought it was very tactical. Both guys kind of fencing and lancing from the outside. Rounds were close, but I thought that Lomachenko was shading it. But from the 5th round on, when he ran him into that left hand, and then he started going to the body late in the fight. Then in the 11th round, when he knocked him down, you said, okay, any chance of there even being a robbery goes right out the London Bridge. It falls off. And Luke Campbell did well to have some moments surviving. But Lomachenko, he's a complete fighter, because he's not just a guy that's going to finesse you from the outside. He's not just going to look pretty or graceful. If he has to bite down on that mouthpiece and say, you know what, I'm going to have to make a sacrifice and get hit a little bit to get to that long, lean torso, he will. And he does a great job of layering his punches. Short punches from the outside with his left hand, then the hook that he hits you with, that's a blind spot from the right side. I don't know if anyone can beat him now. Here's what's going to happen with Lomachenko in the future. It looks like December 14th for the last remaining belt, the IBF at 135. Richard Comey will take on Teofimo Lopez. The winner of that,
which, by the way, is going to be a good fight.
Yes, will be matched up with Lomachenko in the first quarter of 2020.
I like that. I like it a lot. I don't know if either of those two gentlemen are ready for Lomachenko at this point in his career, so I would want them, if I'm Loma, right away, contrary to as confident as Teo and his father may feel. I don't know if they've gotten a little humbled since the last fight, but it remains to be seen. I think it's going to be competitive, though. I think it will be competitive and interesting. I think the style that, or at least that the only one we've seen, and I know was his first fight, second fight with Salido, or was it first or second?
Yeah, he was 1-0 at that point.
1-0 at that point. Is someone who will stay right on top of you, smother with you, get a little dirty, get a little nasty, attack that body, almost a Chavez-esque, Salido sort of loopy kind of puncher, you know, a Burchelt.
Smother him.
Kind of, you know what I mean? Those are the kind of styles that might pose problems. Not that he can't figure it out, but at least we've seen that does cause some issues for him.
You can't play chess with Bobby Fischer. You got to make this a physical game of checkers.
Right.
But even with that said, look, Salido's one of my favorite fighters, but let's take a look at the variables of that fight. Like you said, second pro fight, wasn't experienced, never really been hit to the body. But late in that fight...
But also second pro fight because he had probably the most extensive amateur career,
But Lomachenko started to figure out the style of Salido late in that fight.
Yeah,
a little
too late, though. I don't want to discredit Salido because I thought he did a hell of a job.
There was also the weight issue. He didn't make weight. I mean, these things matter.
I agree, but he still stepped in the ring.
And Lomachenko from that fight immediately became a world-class fighter because I remember at 1-1, Salido didn't make weight, so he had to vacate that BO title, and he absolutely mastered a speed demon in Gary Russell. I mean, look, people can say what they want about Lomachenko's resume, that only 15 fights. Sometimes it's quality over quantity.
It's always.
I mean, over half the fighters he has faced have either won a world title or have faced someone for a world title. It's an impressive resume.
One of the more impressive ones right next to the monster.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
So there you have it. Lomachenko adds another belt to his vast collection. We move on with the 3 knockdown rule. This Saturday, I will be in Viva Las Vegas from the T-Mobile Arena, broadcast on ESPN+. The linear heavyweight championship is on the line for whatever that means. Tyson Fury, 28-0-1. takes on Otto Wallin at 20-0. I had a chance to talk to Tyson Fury, actually during an Uber ride, believe it or not. This is what he knows about his upcoming opponent.
I know quite a lot about him because he's a former European heavyweight champion, and obviously England's based in Europe, so I knew quite a lot about him. He was a highly experienced amateur. He's undefeated in 20 fights, southpaw, 6'6", rated number 4 in the WBA. Very highly ranked opposition.
What does he do well in your view?
What does he do well? He boxes well. He's a slick southpaw. He's been training in New York for 2 years with Joey Gamache, a former world champion trainer. He's a big guy. He's got young. He's ambitious. It is what it is. And another thing, though, Otto Wallin is not my first choice of opponent. But Kubrat Pulev turned this fight down. Alexander Povetkin turned this fight down. Charles Martin turned this fight down. Trevor Bryan turned this fight down. Who else is there? Ortiz is fighting Wilder. Ruiz is fighting Joshua. Dylan White's been popped for a drug test. Jarrell Miller's been popped for a drug test. Who else is there?
So, Mario, let's be honest about it. Tyson Fury's last couple of opponents, they're not exactly Ernest Shavers or Ron Lyle. I'd say very charitably they're nondescript opponents. You get the sense, though, that, they're kind of treading a thin line, aren't they? That they keep saying we're the linear champion, we got a fight coming up. I really hope that the Deontay Wilder rematch is next, because I get the sense from the general public on social media, patience is running thin here.
I think that's always been the plan, and if that's the end game and it happens, then I have no problem with this. If it doesn't, then there's major issues.
Yeah.
I don't think it's for lack of Fury not wanting to get in there either, by the way.
Yeah.
I think the new deal with ESPN and not every fight can be a super fight, and so I don't have a problem watching him build. And remember, when he fought Deontay, he hadn't fought, or he had maybe one tune-up, two tune-ups.
Two tune-ups
against he had to lose
soft.
But he had to lose like 150 pounds, and he still looked great. So now, with having these full camps, he's staying out of trouble, he's looking focused. I think we're going to see a really well-prepared fighter should that happen.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm still being told that Deontay Wilder, the WBC heavyweight champion, he is going to fight Louis Ortiz November 23rd in Las Vegas. I've asked around.
And that's not a gimme.
No, it's not. I actually think, that's much more dangerous than Otto Wallin or Tom May the Schwartz be with you. Let's be honest about it. And I've asked around, and I've said, what's with the announcement? Because this thing was supposed to be early September, late September, early November, and now one of the last weekends of November. It is an issue between Fox and Showtime over just who will distribute that pay-per-view. But I'm being told that fight is absolutely signed, sealed, and delivered. Also on that card, this Saturday, WBO 122-pound champion Emmanuel Navarrete takes on Juan Miguel Elordi in a good junior welterweight battle between Jose Pedraza and Jose Zepeda. So again, all of this is on ESPN+. Mario, quick question. I know a lot of people debate this. Tyson Fury says he's the lineal champion. I'm the man who beat the man who beat the man. and no one's ever beaten him inside the ring. Does that take precedence over a guy like Andy Ruiz, who has 3 of the belts, or a guy like Deontay Wilder, who hasn't lost and is considered number 1 right now? Who's your heavyweight champion?
I'm going to go with Ruiz, and I'm not going to go with him just because he's Mexican.
Órale. Órale.
Honestly, and I'm going to tell you why. He has a point to an extent. The problem is there was too much inactivity in the ring for Fury's case, okay? Ruiz,
only 2 years.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Ruiz beat the man who was considered the guy in the division who had 3 belts, who Deontay Wilder was avoiding, who was looked at as the premier heavyweight in the division. He was the guy that the pinnacle where that's who you wanted. He was calling the shots, selling out the stadiums. He was the man. So there's no debate as far as who beating the man, who beat the man. That was the man. So in my eyes, it's Ruiz. You don't agree?
I completely agree with you in this sense that if you have a title, whether it's a belt or an exalted position, you know what you still have to do?
Fight.
Show up to work. if none of us showed up to our particular jobs for over, let's say, a month, we'd be on the unemployment line. I mean, let's be honest about it. There's no other. That's the thing that I hate when people say in boxing, we just need to go by the lineal titles. Really, in that case, you could face the softest guys or not fight at all, like Jack Dempsey. His heavyweight reign was terrible, actually. There's a great folkle about Jack Dempsey.
You're going way back on
I
that.
am, but look, for 4 or 5 years, he fought like 3 times. And his number one achievement as a heavyweight champion was bankrupting Shelby Montana. He fought guys like Georges Carpentier who were light heavyweights.
So it's more about the lure and maybe the fact that, he was Irish and looking the part.
Great American story.
Right,
the Manasseh
exactly.
Mauler is a part of Americana.
Wow, okay.
But to me, look, I like the
Kimster out here ruining legacies.
Yeah, getting my Burt Sugar on. But in my view, you're right. Anthony Joshua had done enough by collecting belts, staying active, beating good, solid guys. And then Andy Ruiz just
being the most popular heavyweight.
Yeah,
the most popular, selling out stadiums.
Right, and
There's
then
that.
he just snatched his chain.
Exactly.
Look,
in his American debut when he was supposed to come out here, the whole thing was like a movie.
Yeah, it makes no sense that Tyson Fury was basically stripped by all the sanctioning bodies for vacating his job. I don't.
Exactly.
Look, but again, if he beats Deontay Wilder, then if he gets a shot at Andy Ruiz, all is forgiven, and he'll be the heavyweight champion. All of this should be settled inside the ring. Mario, a lot of boxing this weekend on the Zone, too. Friday night from Madison Square Garden, Devin Haney takes on Zaur Abdullayev for the WBC 135 elimination bout. Mario, this is actually key. If Devin Haney wins this, he, in essence, becomes the WBC mandatory for Vasily Lomachenko. That's another young Turk.
Wow. So no truth to the rumors about Devin Haney and possibly Jojo Diaz getting into it?
Well,
according to Jojo, who I saw, at least that's who he's claiming.
Okay, Jojo's at 130. Haney's at 135. Pump the brakes like Fred Flintstone on that one.
You've heard this one, though, right?
I kind of, sort of. But look, Devin's big. Devin in 2 years will be at 140 to 147. Can I give a little? Can I do a little Duke? He's all wrong for him. I don't like that fight.
Huh?
No, okay. I think there's plenty of fights at 130.
We got to work on that Duke.
Yeah, well, you're the Duke guy. You're the Duke guy. But Devin Haney is a very, very focused, disciplined individual. Sharp boxer, really good speed. And you know what? He has a type of skills and athleticism. I don't think that's a walk in the park for Lomachenko. Regardless of the experience, I expect him to beat Abdullayev. Buzzkill alert. Danny Roman last week busted his shoulder, tendonitis in his left shoulder. He will not be taking on Murzhan Akhmadaliev. The hope is that he will return by the end of 2019. Moving on, Saturday night from the Zone, the Dignity Stub Depot Center in Carson, California, WBO 154-pound titleist Jaime Munguia, with Eric Morales in his corner, takes on Patrick Olote. And also, Ryan Garcia goes bird hunting, takes on Avery Sparrow. All right. With Eric Morales in his corner, are we going to see real Mexican style for Munguia? Is he going to tell him, hey, you're more Margarito than you are Vernon Forrest. Get back to being who you are.
Funny that you mentioned Margarito. All Tijuana guys.
Órale.
Margarito, Morales, and Jaime Munguia. Eric Morales is one of my all-time favorite fighters because I feel he changed the perception of what a lot of people thought Mexican fighters should be. He was so fundamentally sound and a technician in there, but still had the huevos of a Mexicano, and he would throw down when he wanted to throw down. He was just like a perfect balance and blend of the two. And so I can see him being a great and just
balls
a smart
and
guy.
brains.
So
balls and brains.
That's exactly what it was. Balls and brains. So I can see him being a great trainer too, because he was a smart guy. He's like a kind of a nerd.
That's interesting.
Assuming his heart's in it, and he's if he's able to. Well, let me say this, I know him a little bit. I don't know him well.
Other guys. Remember, Jesse Vargas had a run with him.
Well, that's the thing. Assuming if he's able to translate what encompassed him and with his makeup to another fighter, then yes, I see him beat. But that isn't always the case, as you know. Not necessarily the
what they call it? The Ted Williams syndrome. That guys who are all-time greats.
Right.
That when Ted Williams became a manager, he'd look at these guys going, wait a minute.
What's the matter with these guys?
What's the matter? I can
right.
He'd say stuff like,
Magic Johnson.
Right. Like Ted Williams would say, I could hit 315 and I'm 68 years old. Like when he, okay? And a guy like.
No, you're right. No, that's a good point.
Because like Dave Roberts. Journeyman type of guy.
Sure.
Mike Sosha, just a solid major leaguer. Sure. And with Morales, I do wonder, is he doing this because he wants to or because he's bored? Because a lot of these guys, you know this, they're such superstars.
Right.
And they get that adrenaline rush. And now when you're just another Jose, you kind of look around saying, my life's kind of boring.
Well, you have some guys that have been able to pull it off that were world champions, like Buddy McGirt.
Buddy McGirt's one of them.
Okay. I'm trying to think of another one. But Buddy McGirt comes to mind, and he's done. Well, John David Jackson was a world champion.
But most of the time, they're guys like Freddie Roach, though.
No, I agree, but I'm just saying, once in a while, I mean, I don't know. I'm pulling for him. So, and I'm hoping. I think it'd be good for boxing too. I'm so damn mad I can't be at this damn fight. I'm whispering because I feel like I'm in trouble. But I got to work. So I'm out of town.
Got to work.
And I got to work. But I'll be there in spirit and obviously watching it.
I want to see
we need to see Munguia, and we need to see a step up from Munguia. We cannot see the same Munguia if we've seen a lot.
Well, we alluded to this the last time. If I see Munguia bouncing around the canvas, trying to be fancy, trying to be slick,
he needs to be Margarito.
Morales in that first round needs to sit him down and say, "What are you doing? Be who you are. You could be fundamentally sound, but you have to be aggressive. And look, you got to have a ring identity. You got to adhere to it. You got to practice to it. You got to drill to it. Then you actually have to do it. Word is, this is his last fight at 154, and he's moving up to the big boys at 160.
Where he'll still be a big guy.
Yeah, he will be. And he's young. He's only 22, so let's not panic. But I have to be honest with you. I'm one of his biggest advocates. Those last two fights, especially the fight with Hogan, I'm not so sure he won that fight. And there's a reason why they picked Patrick Elote, because he's very beatable, and they want to set the stage and regain that mojo that he had last year in 2018. What are you expecting from Ryan Garcia?
Well, this is going to be his second camp working with the Reynosos. I did see some improvement based on his last fight. Assuming the trend continues, I don't know how much of a leap, but I think he will get better because they're going to keep him more focused, and I hear they're keeping him disciplined down there. I want the kid to put his phone down.
Impossible.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I don't know if that's possible these days. Just to be all in, right? Because I think it's how we've said many times, it's how you win, not just the way you win. But little breaking news for you. The plan is, when I was talking to Oscar, with the party you blew off, that more on that later. That was a hell of a party. The plan is, if Garcia gets past this fight and looks good, they're thinking of matching him up with Linares.
Jorge Linares?
Jorge Linares next.
Wait a minute.
That's a big jump up right there.
Wow. That gets an Instagram like from me right there.
Does that get an Instagram like for you right there?
But Avery Sparrow is tricky. He is a confident guy out of Philadelphia. I've seen him fight. He's pulled some upsets before. Very, very slick, and he's elusive. Ryan's going to have to be patient. He's going to have to be fundamentally sound with that jab. And another fight that I heard that they might make is a hard-punching Romero Duno,
right?
Who is on that undercard. But that Linares fight.
I asked him that. What do you think about that Linares fight?
Wow.
That's a step up.
You know what I call the Linares fight? Bone Thugs and Harmony. See you at the crossroads. I love that fight.
That's a corny reference, but I love it. I love it. I love it.
That was 90s, by the way.
It was 90s.
So this is going to be a fun card. By the way, gotta give Golden Boy credit. They are making, their big shows, everyone pays attention. But they're mid-level, not like the huge shows, but the ones on the Zone and on Ring TV. I've seen a lot of good stuff. I want to give a tip of the cap to Michelada time. Robert Diaz doing a hell of a job this year.
We went to the fight. We were both at the fight in Pasadena
August
at
30th.
City Hall. That was beautiful, man. It was outside, right in front of City Hall. They lit it up. A bunch of people, thousands of people came. It was like they had little beer gardens and stuff. It went so well. The mayor was so happy that Oscar was telling me this next year they want to add a festival to it and even make it bigger and take the fights up a level too.
And,
isn't that great?
And
Make
can
it
we
a
give
summertime
Oscar
thing.
credit? He handed a check, one of those big oversized ones, which I love, for $100,000 to a local charity out there in Pasadena. Thumbs up to that.
Yeah, that was cool.
And Mario, you have a new favorite fighter. My boy from Uzbekistan, my 8th cousin, Bek the Bully Melikuziev. What a wrecking ball this guy is.
I love that dude. He got some heavy hands. I love those corkscrew Golovkin type punches, and he throw those. I like to throw those in sparring all the time. Guys don't like when they're, but those you get around the gloves are great. I just love hard hitting guys that are focused, calm, put pressure. He's gonna be fun to watch.
He is managed in the camp of Vadim Kornilov.
Vadim, my old sparring partner.
I'm going to say it right now. Vadim has about at least 6, 7, or 8 future world champions in that camp. They're all trained by Joel Diaz. Me and Tino went out there a couple of months ago out there in Indio.
Weren't those guys at Pasadena sitting
Yes,
down
they were.
too? Yeah, they were sitting down. They look like hardcore. He just gets all the hardcore dudes from the Eastern Bloc.
Israel Madrimov. And you talk to people that follow the amateur boxing, this is like the Revolutionary War. The Uzbekis are coming. The Uzbekis are coming. There is a wave of them, and they're going to all win world titles within 6, 7, 8 pounds. You know what? I didn't fall asleep in every class at Montebello High School. Another thing, you talked about the beer garden. I have to tell you, I finally had a taco from those Kogi taco trucks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Where you been, player?
Wow.
Who hooked you up with some Casa Mexico tequila on your water cup, too, by the way?
Oh, my God. I had to eat something. Good job, though. That was good.
I
For years, I've been hearing about Kogi. I said, okay, all right.
That's
I'm
your
Korean.
boy Roy Choi, right?
Yeah, and I'm just like, all right. So all the other lines, all the other like hamburger stands were filled. So I said, I'll try this. I have to tell you, that is on my pound for pound list, maybe top 5.
Yeah,
I had
that's us mixed together, Mexican
Wow.
and Korean. We've had him here, right,
Yeah,
Nichols?
he's half and half.
Dude,
They
he's done
He
really
grew
well.
up in Koreatown. I forget what his exact story was, but he
Yeah, he
combined
basically
it.
They're
came up
incredible.
with a food truck. And then they made the movie about him, Chef,
Yeah.
which is basically based
I had the
on him,
short
like-
rib tacos.
Oh, those are
Wow.
bomb, aren't they?
Wow.
Burritos are good, too,
I have
dude.
seen the light. Mario, this Friday when I'm in Vegas, ESPN and Top Rank are going to roll out their fall schedule for the rest of the year for the most part. Let's go down the list here. October 18th, City of Brotherly Love in Philadelphia, light heavyweight unification. Artur Beterbiev takes on the Nail Alexander Gavozic. Then October 26th from Reno, Nevada on ESPN Plus. Mario, this is signed, sealed, and delivered.
I'm yours.
Grudge match. 2019, Shakur Stevenson takes on Joette Gonzalez. Then November 2nd from Carson, Miguel Burchelt will defend his WBC 130-pound title against Jason Sosa. Then, November 9th in Fresno, California at the minor league ballpark, Jamel Herring defends his WBO 130-pound title against Lamont Roach. Then it looks like November 30th, we could see the return of Oscar Valdez, and also Carl Frampton could be co-headlining. And then I don't know if this fight will be announced just yet, but it looks like December 14th at the Madison Square Garden in New York to end the year after the Heisman Trophy presentation on the worldwide leader. Terrence Crawford will be taking on the Mean Machine, Igas Kavalishkas, and Teofimo Lopez against Richard Comey. Mario, that's a good lineup.
That is a good lineup. Solid way to end the year.
And moving on to news and notes. Mario, you have a direct line to Oscar De La Hoya. He was out there partying with you this past weekend. What has he told you about the Sergey Kovalev Canelo Alvarez talks? I'm hearing that they're
It's
not
done. It's done.
It's done.
It's just not. You know,
Breaking
they can't
news
be
here
official.
on the
Man,
Knockdown.
I'm talking. Am I talking out of pocket? Should Oscar?
I don't know. We'll see
Should
what
I
happens
not
after
have
we
said
publish
about
Breaking
this?
news.
Should I? Hey, we drank a lot of tequila on Saturday, but he told me about Linares. He told me Kovalev is done. It's just obviously they got to dot the tie. And then we both talk for like a half hour. Like, dude, what's he doing jumping up 2 weight classes? But Canelo firmly believes that his legs are shot. And then once he starts to cut off the ring and attack the body, that's going to be all she wrote. There's no catch weight. 175.
Is there a
Oscar's weight-
hydration limit? None of that either, right?
I don't believe so.
Ooh, I
don't
like
believe so.
this.
But they feel that his movement is just it's not going to be there. I said, really, bro? He goes, dude, and he made a good point. He goes, the last dude he fought, yeah, he was a big, strong guy. That guy doesn't even spar. He doesn't even spar. So how you not spar to get ready for a fight? Like, that doesn't make any sense. I don't understand.
But
anyway, I said, well, I'll tell you one thing he does have for sure is that jab. And that jab is still...
And that's universal.
It's still crisp. It's still hard because he knocked the guy out with it. And it still comes at you fast and frequent. So... that's gonna be tough, bro. And yeah, it's not his choice, really, or not his wish, but that's what Canelo really wants, and so it is what it is. Hey, I admire him for daring to be great and having the balls to want to step up to weight classes. But man, that's gonna be quite the challenge.
I think the plan is to announce it by the middle of this week because they got to get the ball rolling. That is November 2nd.
Yes.
And you know what's November 9th at the Staples Center? Logan Paul versus KSI, two YouTubers that put on this pay-per-view show last year.
Dude, at the Staples Center, and they did really well. It was in at the O2 Arena, wasn't
Right,
it?
and they sold out, and they did a lower-priced pay-per-view that actually did like over 1 million buys.
Unbelievable.
According to Eddie Hearn, I conversed with him a
It's like
little
$10
bit.
for-
It looks like B.J. Saunders and Devin Haney, should he come out clean this weekend, will be on that card.
Oh
and
my
the
God.
zone will be...
That's unbelievable. You're gonna have legit real fighters. Because by the way, these guys can't fight for shit. Just so you know, are they having a rematch?
without headgear. They're actually turning pro.
Turning
They
pro.
are. They're getting life. You know what? Andy
Oh my
Foster.
God.
who's-
Can I get in on this? Can I get in
Look,
on
you
this?
should be the
Seriously.
semi-main. Who's an actor you have a beef with? Let's get something started. You should be the
Dang,
semi-main.
That is unbelievable.
But
I mean,
no,
I guess good for them. It's like, do you want to watch crappy football or anything else or crappy you know what I mean? Or do you want to watch a crappy
Mario,
fight?
it's been proven with that first fight. They have an audience.
No,
The
no
numbers
one's
speak for
denying
themselves.
that. No one's denying that. No, and more credit to them. I agree. I'm just blown away by it. You know what I mean?
Well, the other thing is, for real boxing fans, Saunders is going to be on the card. He'll be defending his WBO 168-pound
How many
title.
rounds?
I think it's a 6-rounder without headgear, professional rules. And Andy Foster, the head of the commission, told Lance Pugmire, he said, with all due respect, I have actually seen worse fights on club fight shows. and look, Larry Merchant's, look, I don't understand the outrage. At the end of the day, if you don't want to watch it, you don't have to.
Yeah, no, there's no. I'm just more surprised and blown away by it. There's no outrage. Good for them.
And what did Larry Merchant once say? Ain't nothing going to save it. Ain't nothing going to kill it. I don't think it's... Look, I believe the most overrated thing people say is two things. Oh, my God, it's going to bring new eyeballs to boxing. No, it's not. People are going to watch it, and they're going to move on to whatever they like. I don't think it creates new fans, but I also don't think it's the ruinization of the sport. I think people are very alarmist about that.
I agree, and I love novelty acts. Like if we could see, gosh, now I can't think of anything, but Battle of the Anchors, like Matt Lauer versus George Stephanopoulos or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was an awful example, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Or fill in the whoever, like just
Look,
you know what I mean? Or
celebrity
like just-
boxing, we all got a kick out of that, whether we want to
It did
admit
really
it or
well.
not. It actually did well
did
on
really
Fox
well.
about 15
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
Now, moving on to the Ask Mario segment of the show, your mama side piece. So now that at Gamebred Fighter versus Nate Diaz 209 is official, who does Mario got and where does he rank Khabib in his pound-for-pound top MMA guys after the last performance?
See, we got those bleed over fans in the combat world. I'm glad we went there because I wanted to talk about this in flurries. UFC's been on fire with their cards lately, and what I've always said, boxing can learn from them, is they stack their cards. People go in there early, and those cards are entertaining, and it's been worth your money these last few times. That's a fight where neither of the fighters are champions, right? They're right about to be contenders, but where they're just all around such badasses in their personalities, and they've kind of called each other out. And that's the thing about Dana, what he's so smart about. He knows they have a following, ironically, to what we were just discussing. And now they're going to headline in Madison Square Garden, where it's already going to be sold out. And it's a hell of a fight because Diaz looked great coming off his layoff, beating Pettis, and Masvidal came off that destruction of Ben Askren. Oh God, I mean, it's hard to count Diaz out after this. I thought this layoff, Pettis was going to be too much from. Oh, I mean, I'm going to go with my West Coast homie, and stick with the raza and go with Diaz, but Masvidal's a bad dude. If he can avoid trading with him and they end up taking it to the ground, I'm liking Diaz, but it's a very much a pick 'em fight.
And I believe that is also November 2nd. That is a busy day for combat sports on the Zone, and I believe this will be on, ESPN or pay-per-view, right?
Correct. They have a deal with ESPN. They do ESPN Plus, all the UFC fights, much like Top Rank. As far as Khabib, this dude, what a contrast in the way him and Dustin Poirier carried themselves. Total class, gentlemen throughout, and Khabib will treat you because you disrespect him, then he gets all
Well, we
crazy.
saw what
like
happened
we
in
saw what
October,
happened there. But he actually had he got caught in a guillotine and a couple shots. I thought he was out, but he managed to split the guard, get off the other side of the leg, and the guy's arms were just toast after that. Once he's on you, he mauls you. He's like a boa constrictor, and then he got him in a rear naked and choked him out. The fight everyone wants to see, and the fight that was set before he got injured, was El Cucuy, Tony Ferguson. That fight is badass. That dude has knocked out the last 12 guys.
But is Khabib the guy in the UFC right now? Is he number one?
Yes. As far as if you're going to do your pound for pound, then yes. But this fight, but next to Tony Ferguson, who's got the longest fight, the winning streak, and that style of contrast, that's a hell of a fight.
LA Guns, what's the best place to get boxing tees at? Oh, Roots of Fight. Love Roots of Fight.
Yeah, we like those. Aside from the 3 Knockdown Rule shops.
Of course. C's Candy, which you can get at 3knockdownrule.com. Here's one from C's Candy. Will we see...
Candy company?
Yeah, well, he spells it S-E-E-Z.
Oh.
K-A-N-D-Y.
It's the ghetto chocolate you
yeah.
get when you cruise
will
down.
we see Spence versus Crawford in their prime, or will it be another Mayweather versus Pac? I think it's going to be in the middle. I think we'll see it sometime next year because I'm the eternal optimist, and it won't be a 5-year wait.
No, you're not. But I hope it happens. but I hope it does happen. And that's a fight that I'm planning to attend, the one with him and Porter, which, by the way, is a fun fight.
It'll be a fun fight.
They should fight in the new Raider Stadium.
Oh, you know what? That could
go.
be. That by the way, Mark Davis has been showing up to a lot of events, whether it's UFC or boxing. My understanding is that new stadium, which looks great, they are going to be hosting events.
Mark Davis, best haircut in fucking
honorary Asian.
he got a wig like Kimster over here.
Yeah, when I was 6 years old. Here's one from Alex Gomez. If you had to choose just one on November 2nd, UFC 244, Nate versus Masvidal, or Canelo versus Kovalev, which are you choosing? Answer wisely, LOL.
I'm watching both. No, Canelo Kovalev, obviously number one, but immediately throwing on ESPN Plus after
That's the
that
great
fight.
thing about
that's a great fight.
modern technology.
Yeah.
You don't have to choose. It's not like 1995
Yeah.
where if you had one VCR, you had to tape one and make sure you're home for the other. Nowadays, you just stack all the programming up, just like this weekend. Here's one from Clay Stevenson. Hey, Mario, fantasy fights for you. Once again, Oscar versus Loma at 135 and Crawford versus Mosley.
I think Oscar was too long, and at 35, he was a beast and super
I'd go with
strong.
Oscar.
Super too long, too strong that jab, and too strong for him. If a guy like Linares can drop him, Oscar would knock him out with that same shot. Crawford versus Mosley. What weight?
135.
Ooh, that's interesting. Mosley was bad too, dude. Ooh,
yeah,
that's a good one. Ooh, who do you say? You go with Crawford?
I'd go with Mosley at 35. That was his best weight.
Yeah, he was bad. He was
and
bad.
he was strong. He was so strong.
So strong, and he was kind of like, he was nasty with it back then, if that makes any sort of sense.
Yeah.
Right? He had that looping sort of ride, and he'd go to the body hard. I like him too, I think. Much more active.
Oh, here's a question. Hey, Steve, how many games will... oh, my God. Manny Diaz win this year at Miami? I'm going to say it right now. Anything less than 9 wins from Miami after they blew that game on a 4th and 17 will be a failure. And I will start
Canes
to
are
have
garbage, just
my
like your wig.
doubts
Listen.
right now. Here's another question. Brad White, Spence Garcia did 360,000 pay-per-view buys. How many for Spence Porter? Mario, I'm going to set the over-under at 250 to 275.
I think that's generous.
It is. There's some alarming things going on with the ticket sales. I don't think they're actually opening up the top level, and I'm actually hearing they're doing some sales, some discounts. Look, It's a good fight. I just don't know, Mario, and I don't want people to take this the wrong way, but you know this. In LA, unless it's heavyweights, if you do not have a Mexican, it is tough to fill a venue. It is.
Well, there's just a difference between a good fighter and a star. And the stars are what sell.
And this is an excellent matchup.
Yes.
It is. But you need a Mexican.
Right.
You do. And that's why there was actually talk of putting on Julio Cesar Chavez. That's why they put on Durrell versus Benavidez, which is an excellent fight.
But that's a good fight. Benavidez can actually really fight.
Moving on before we hit final flurries. Guys, if you found $100 on the street, would you pick it up or keep walking? Of course you take the money. So why do you keep picking winners and not betting on them? That's why I go to MyBookie. It's fast, it's easy, and they pay when you win. Let's face it, where you're betting is just as important as who you're betting on. I wouldn't be telling you guys to bet with them if they weren't the best. Do the smart thing. If you're going to bet football this season, bet with MyBookie. If you're the kind of guy that likes to bet a little and win a lot, try a parlay. If all your picks come through, you'll multiply your winnings, and no matter how you bet, the NFL season is the best time of the year. So join now, and MyBookie will double your first deposit. Use the promo code KNOCKDOWNS, one word, all caps, to activate the offer. That's promo code KNOCKDOWN. Visit mybookie.ag today. You play, you win, you get paid, and NFL season has started, Mario.
Yes, it has. As our final flurry, I'm thrilled that the Chargers, well, they almost charged and blew the game in the final
Phillip
seconds.
Rivers gonna Phillip Rivers.
Dang it. But they're 1-0, and they got it done. I will say this. I like Eckler, but we need Melvin Gordon. Eckler looked to me like one bad tackle away.
Yeah. Gordon
from getting
claims
out there.
between week 6 and 8 he will appear.
Okay.
That's
It
what I
will
saw
be
this
nice
weekend.
and win. So what's he taking, a vacation? What do you mean? Why
Well,
doesn't he
I
show
don't
up
know.
next week?
No, he has to because he wants to get that year of service for his pension. You guys got to get the year
Do you
credit.
think he comes back?
Well, I think he has to, or because he's going to put himself behind the 8 ball. But look, this team is very good. That's a top 5 roster. But once again, Phillip Rivers, who I like, you're up by 8. You have the ball inside the 25.
Oh, I know,
Less than
dude.
5 minutes to go.
Dude, that's a microcosm of his career.
That's the last thing you can do or should do. I would have just ran the ball 3 times, kicked the
course.
field goal, you're up by 11. And I'm watching this going, that's a veteran. I don't trust Phillip Rivers. His game situation decisions are bad. For a guy that's really that smart and that good, that's the thing that does disturb. And you're right about Eckler. I've said this. He's a very good second back. Can he take the pounding of being that number 1 guy for 16 weeks?
And we don't have Derwin James, who's a baller. Yeah. And I like Derwin James, so I'm looking forward to coming back. But it's tough, man. I can't believe the Raiders looked as good as they did after all that drama against the Broncos.
Addition by subtraction?
Yeah, right? Man, so it's gonna be tough.
Mario, if you were the Patriots, would you have picked up AB?
Well, considering how they looked against the Steelers, I guess what do you got to lose at this point, right?
Nothing, because they're going to win 15 games without him.
Can you
I
believe
think
that?
they're that good. And the AB's going to have to realize one thing. You're no longer the primary guy because it's going to be Edelman in the slot. Philip Dorsett takes the top off the defense. Josh Gordon runs everything else. And that system is very disciplined. You talk to anyone that really knows football.
Well, that's the thing. I think the biggest difference between him and the Steelers is that Belichick's over there playing chess and Tomlin's playing checkers. So he's always like 2-3 steps ahead schematically and seems to always have it figured out with the defense.
And remember
and knows how to capitalize.
A lot of his big plays with Big Ben were Big Ben would scramble, extend plays.
Yeah.
And then they do like schoolyard football. That doesn't happen with Brady. Brady's the type of guy that you have to read the defense as you're running the route.
Right.
And if you're not in the right area consistently, you're not going to get on the field. That's going to be a big adjustment for AB. Now, I tell you the player that I think is the most fascinating player this year is going to be the most overanalyzed guy every single week, Lamar Jackson. I love that first game. Now, I think that's a bit of an aberration with the 5. But you know what stat I loved about Lamar? He only ran the ball 3 times. Now, that's sustainable.
Big improvement from when the Chargers beat him in the playoffs in Baltimore last year. Your boy Baker Mayfield, was that just a bad game, or what are your thoughts?
They have an issue. They need a left tackle. Trent Williams with the Redskins, who's made like 7 Pro Bowls, is available.
Yeah.
If he is your franchise and he's a mouthy little guy and everyone wants to kill him, right? You better get him a bodyguard. You better get him Kevin Costner. Okay, that's your Whitney Houston. Get him your Kevin Costner.
How did Garoppolo look?
It was good.
Oh, if he started off with an
you know what? 2 touchdowns got called back. One was a BS call.
A road win is a
I
road
didn't
win.
see the game, so I didn't know.
Our pass rush was elite.
But I know
Nick
if you-
Bosa, welcome.
Did he look good? Did he look
Yes.
good? Whenever you start off
Nick
a question
Bosa
with,
just wants to make
then that means
Hey,
that's like I'm trying to
it's
find
week
something
1.
nice.
We're not mad
Hey,
at you.
Buffalo, doesn't Bosa just want to make the Niners great again? But
That's what he
anyway,
says.
a road win is a road win. Mario, I saw a video, which I love. James Harden is trying to box. I love videos like this because I think you can certainly appreciate it. When world-class athletes, they all think boxing's easy till they do it. It just shows you this sport is tough.
Oh, dude, it's a whole nother thing. It's not a game. You play football, you play baseball, you play basketball. You don't play fighting. You fight. It's a whole nother mental thing. I lied. One last thing. You missed a hell of a party on Saturday.
I was at Barney's Beanery.
We went
for the
through.
Miami game.
Boo. We went through 30.
Hey, Jaron Williams
listen to
played
me.
well, guys.
Listen to me. We went through 36 bottles of tequila.
Whoa.
That day, right?
Whoa.
Wasn't it fun? Did you
That
guys
was
have
just
fun?
tequila, by the way.
I
Yes,
hope,
that was just
I
tequila.
hope
We had the
everyone
keg.
took an Uber home. Jeez.
Dude, everyone was lit.
And
That
this
was my
was
child's
for,
party.
this was for an infant.
Yes. It's for an 8-week-old. That's how Mexicans do it, dude. Just
It was
hey,
epic.
You gotta wait for the baptism party. That's gonna be off the chain.
So I actually saw a DJ was there.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
I had a lot of shit there.
Oh, I had the mariscos.
The mariscos was next level. That was a big hit. And I had
You could get
Italian
anything
food.
you wanted too from them. They just serve it right up.
See, don't miss any more parties at Casa Lopez.
Barney's
dude.
Beanery had good wings, I will say that. Anyway. Anyway, all right, well, that's it for this week's edition of the 3 Knockdown Rule. On behalf of Mario Lopez and Justin Buffalo Knuckles, this is Steve Kim saying